Hello, ladies and gentle ladies. Welcome back to another Industria development stream. Today we are going to be doing some more, or actually something very different to what we've been doing. And that is to work on some multi-blocks today. Yes, hello wide, welcome to the stream. So, yes, so we're kind of completely going to be rewriting the multi-block system today. Turn the music down a little bit so it's not overly loud. Hello Yoda Force, welcome to the stream. So I have already kind of gotten started with the multi-block stuff here. So yeah, we have kind of a lot to go through, but effectively what I want to do in the stream is I want to have multi-blocks instead be you place the blocks down and then once it's completed it will build the multi-block rather than you place it down a single block and the whole thing builds itself. That's what I want to change. Now unfortunately that means rewriting the entire multi-block system. However, that's fine because we need to redo how multi-blocks are done anyways. So because multi-blocks always had their little problems, and hopefully those are all going to be resolved by this new system. And I'm doing this all in place for a kind of redesign of the mod. I don't want to call it a redesign of the mod because the mod isn't changing. But it's a redesign of the theme a little bit. So it's obviously still going to be a tech mod, right? I can't exactly change away from a tech mod now, and I don't want to either. But I want to kind of change the underlying premise of the mod. Now, I don't really want to talk about that too much today because I don't want to give anything away, and I'd rather keep it a little bit of a secret for a while. But yeah, that's going to be hopefully very exciting. I have something very unique planned, something very cool, never done before. So yeah, I have kind of talked about it once before, but I doubt anyone remembers, so that's why it's yeah. So anyways, I've been writing some codecs. Because I need a way to define a multi-block. So this is basically what I've got as the definition. So it has an identifier, it has a version. I don't know if I actually am going to need a version. I don't really know how I intend to do this in the future. So for now, I'm keeping a version. And then I have a size, I have a controller position, I have a set of axis rotations, which is like whether it can go 0, 90, 180, 270, that kind of thing. I have mirror modes as well, so that's just whether it's no mirroring allowed, X allowed, Z allowed, that kind of thing. And then I have a palette here, so that's a map of char to a block predicate. So obviously a block predicate just allows me to say, is this block allowed to be in this position? Basically is what we want to say. And then we just have a list of string, which is the pattern. So basically that'll just be a three-dimensional array of chars, if you think about it like that. And then we also have a list of port rules as well. We're going to need to come back to this one, but basically that's defining exactly how the ports should work, so the I/O ports. But we'll come back to those because that's a redesigned system anyways. Why using map.of and not record codec builder.map codec? I'm pretty sure they're exactly the same. Oh, maybe not actually. you might be onto something. Either way, it's pretty close, so that's the important thing. Hello, Soya Bim. Still don't know how to say it. Welcome to the stream. So yeah, we've got some codec stuff to do first, and just kind of fill out these codecs. That shouldn't take too long though. So we have to define here a codec of a list of a string. I don't really know how to do that. Codec. This could be correct. Codec dot. No, it's just a list, right? If I do a codec of a list of a string, there you go. There you go. You need to do record codec builder.map codec. That's correct. God, I haven't done this in so long. Yes, I do need to do that. You are correct. And it's builder.group. And then it passes in all these. And then I do apply. Yes. Which takes in the builder and the class. So the class is a multi-block definition. Like that. There you go. I actually don't like to call it the builder. I like to call it the instance because it is an instance. Can you give any hints of the redesign of the mod? See, there's a lot of things I have planned. I don't know what I wanna kind of say. I don't want to give too much away. Okay, let's just say, we'll be adding an entity. We'll be adding an entity. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. And the entity is gonna be very, very important. Yes, thank you for pointing that out. This entity is gonna be very, very important. Well, it's actually not very important. It's mid to late game, but something about this entity will be very important. Maybe how you get the entity. Yeah, I'm not gonna say anything else. Yeah, I'm not gonna say anything else. So that's what I'm leaving you guys with, which isn't much. I know that's not much, but I don't want to give too much away, just because I don't want anyone stealing the idea. Not that I think anyone would steal the idea, just because it's a very complex idea in general. But I'm not going to take the risk, at least for now. Once we've wrote some systems, I mean, you'll probably see through the streams, because through the next couple streams, we're going to be writing some special systems, some quite complex systems, and if you can put them all together in your head, then you might be able to figure out kind of what I'm aiming for. But yeah, but it's heading ChatGPT. No. I mean, no, not really. Not really. You're like, no, you're not really close, actually. One could say, no, you're not really close. Yeah, I'm not going to say anything else. I'm going to try not to leak anything else. Is it like the mechanism Robit? Honestly, I've never used the mechanism Robit, so I couldn't tell you. That is like one of the things I just never touched because I couldn't care less about it. Well, not that I couldn't care less about it, but I just don't know what it does, and I've never seen anyone use it, so I've always assumed it's not very good. So I don't know what it does. Mechanism is so arc. Make this more better than mechanism. It will be different from mechanism. Let me just say, okay, you know, I can say this as well, because I'm fine with saying this. So, this, what I'm doing is going to stretch the, it's going to stretch the definition of a tech mod. Let's just say that. You might have to redefine how you think of a tech mod. It's still going to have all the machines and stuff. Right, it's still going to have all of that. That's not obviously going anywhere. But it's not going to be a traditional tech mod. Is what all I will say. Yeah, I'm leaving it at that. I need to fix this because it is going to annoy me. I don't really know what to do with the port rules. Or how to define port rules. I think I'd quite like to have something maybe like I've actually been discussing some of this with ChatGPT because it's great to in terms of like just throwing ideas around, especially when I don't want to leak it to you guys. It's great for. To be fair, granted, it kind of just confirms all my ideas rather than saying, no, that's a terrible idea. But still, it kind of is helping. In terms of I/O ports, yeah, it hasn't said anything about those because I haven't talked to it about that. And I'm not going to. So currently an I/O port is defined as a predicate of a local position. So a local position is just a position relative to the center block, right? The controller. And then it has a set of local directions, which are like up, down, front, back, left, right, which are the sides that this port will, you know, accept on. And it has a list of types as well. So that would be transfer type, and then whether it's an input or an output. So I need to be able to define that as a JSON, basically. But I don't really want this predicate, right? Or predicate, however you want to say it. Because that's not really relevant to me anymore. So let me have a look. So it's just really the sides and the types. And then a char. So I want something like a map of a character. Yeah, something like a map of a character. Hello Ilya, welcome to the stream. And it is kind of to a port rule, but it's not a port rule. We need to come up with another name for it. Or I can rename this one. You know what I'm going to call this? I'm going to call this positioned port rule. Okay. Which is a terrible name, but honestly, this class is probably going to get deleted at some point, so I'm not too worried about it right now. So let's create a new class, which is port rule. And it is effectively going to be the same. So what I can do is I can just copy all of this. And then change this to port rule. So this will just become port rule. Refactor. This will be port rule. 30, it's so cool that you got straight to work on the new multi-block system. Yes, because I think it's very important. Right, it's I mean, this multi-block system, having this be constructible, will be essential. It will be essential for how I want to continue with the mod. What I want to do would be physically impossible without it. So it is important. Which is why I'm doing this right now. Because I don't want to like continue with the machines and then have to rewrite them all later, right? I'd rather just do this now, rewrite the machines I currently have, and then going forward I can just use this new system. I don't have to rewrite it. So that's kind of the plan. So here we go. Codec of port rule. And we'll say codec is equal... That's not a thing, right? No, that's not a thing. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know the difference between a map codec and a codec. I think I do want a map codec, though. Because it has a bunch of stuff. Oh, I need to remove this. There you go. And then... this just goes... like that. That goes like that. Create a new port builder. Nothing special. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Like that. This is once again record codec builder dot map codec instance oops dot group. Okay, so what's this done? So extra codecs dot enum set of... Honestly, this could just be set. It doesn't need to be an enum set specifically. Why is this complaining? Oh, that's fine. It's just because of that. Yeah, this can just be an enum set in here. It doesn't actually need to be an enum set in here. So that's perfectly fine. Okay, so then what I can do, so this doesn't need to be a thing. This just needs to be set of, and this needs to be local direction.codec. That's correct. So we can do codec of a local direction. Codec is equal codec.string.xmap. Okay, I want to define a thing in here which is a private final int index, and then a it's not public, is it? It's just a local direction of int index, and do that, and then just say, actually we can't do that because we have up and down. Okay, that's not gonna work. That's fine, we'll just use the ordinal. Or we could just do this. Yeah, that would work, to be honest. Sure, that's fine. I think this day will be more productive than the food debate day. I hope so. Because that stream was not very productive, was it? I don't even know what we did in that stream. That's how unproductive it was. Okay, so then we can do port type.codec.list of. Okay, so let's do codec of port type, which is this one. Yeah, port type needs to come out of the old because that's, I'm keeping that. What's your favorite food? My favorite food, honestly, I always struggle when someone says that because I don't know that I actually like any food enough to say that it's my favorite food. I like a lot of food equally. I would have to say something like... You know what? Honestly, this is going to sound crazy. I think my favorite food is hash browns, bro. I don't know why, but I just vibe with them so much. I genuinely don't know why. They are just good, though. I don't know if I say that's my favorite. It's really hard to say what's a favorite, because would you consider a favorite something you want to have all the time, or do you consider a favorite something that you like but you wouldn't have it all the time? Like, what do you guys consider a favorite? What would you consider a favorite food to be? Something you would happily eat all day, every day for the rest of your life? Just one that you like the most? Yeah, I would probably say hash browns then. Yeah. I think it would have to be. They're good, man. They really are. I don't mind a veg Subway. It's healthy too. I don't know, man. That sounds just... I'll be honest. It sounds kind of boring. I don't know. I would just want something... I don't know. It's actually really hard to say. I mean, like, there isn't many foods I would eat all day, every day for the rest of my life. There really isn't many. I think this actually was correct, being a codec list. And I get it every other Friday, it's just perfect. I mean, fair enough. I don't think I could do that. Why is this complaining? Oh, because it needs to be a list. It does need to be a list. How do I... Do I have that in extra codecs or not? What does this do? I see. Also, why doesn't this just call this one? Why did I do it like that? It should just be set of codec.codec. Okay, so what I can do is I can do .codec, and then I can do codec.list of .codec. I want to add that to extra codecs actually, because that's horrible. I don't like that. Public static t list of, and then I'm gonna have a list of a map codec, and just return codec.list of codec.codec. And then I can say wherever it is, I don't know where it is. Here it is. Extra codecs dot list of the codec, which is a little bit cleaner. I mean, it's negligible really, but it's enough of a difference that I'm gonna keep that. Tuna pasta bake anytime. I don't like tuna. I actually hate tuna. I say that. I've never eaten tuna, but I cannot stand the smell of tuna. I can't. If something smells like horrible, I cannot. I will never eat it. It just won't happen. So I could never have a tuna pasta bake. So I'm sorry, Wade. I'm sorry to disappoint you. Oh, this is a map. Holy shit. We gotta create a field for it then. What else do people say? Mac and cheese or breakfast burrito? I get that. I understand that. I'm honestly not a huge fan of mac and cheese. Like, it's okay. Don't get me wrong, it's not bad. Also, this should also really be a charter object map. I don't know why yeah. I don't know. It's just like it's alright. Mac and cheese is alright. It's not anything to go crazy about. Never had it. Sounds like cheesy pasta with no seasoning. That's exactly what it is, yes. That's exactly what it is. I mean, you can add seasoning. Right? Some people do. I don't know. It's not all that, I wouldn't say, personally. What am I doing right now? I'm so... what am I doing? Oh my god. Char... to object map of a block predicate. No, not a block predicate. A port rule. Jesus Christ. I'm losing it a little bit today, guys. Or what was the other thing you said? A breakfast burrito. See, that's good depending on what you consider a breakfast burrito. It's very dependent on what you consider a breakfast burrito. Because that could be either really good or really not great. Well, it's probably good or mid is what I would say. So, you know, what would you include in a breakfast burrito? I guess would be the question. Why is this complaining? Map codec of port rule conforms to codec of V. So this needs to be a codec. So I need to do extra codecs dot list of. No, not list of. It's just extra codec dot codec. Breakfast burrito, eggs, bacon, sausage, hash brown. That's good. Okay. You're onto something. I will say you're onto something there. Why is this complaining? Why is this complaining? Oh, this is just a codec. That's why. How is Wingstop, by the way? I keep seeing it everywhere. I've never had it or seen it. Have I seen it? Let me have a look. Let me have a look at what it looks like and I'll tell you if I've seen it. No, I've never seen it. It looks good. Like, the images look... they look really good. Let me look at their locations. I'm curious. Locations. Allow. Nope, I have none. None near me. They're all in London. Or at least a lot of them are in London. Getting waiting stuff in my city centre, it looks like. It does look good. It does look good. From the pictures, I say. You never know if that actually means it's good or not, but... what is this complaining? Oh, right, because this needs to be port rules codec. It would be funny if, like, I've always thought about this, like, what if, you know, you met someone online and they turned out to be your neighbor? I've always thought that would be the funniest thing in the world. Like, not neighbor, but like nearby neighbor, right? But I guess that just rarely happens because there's so many people. But, you know. Anyways, we're done with this class. I met someone online and I found they were my classmate in high school back in the day. That's crazy. I've never met anyone that even lives close to me, if I don't think. I can't think of it. I'm trying to think of everyone I've ever met. I'm trying to think of the closest person to me. I think there was someone that was like 50 miles from me. Like no one has ever been that close. But I don't live in a city or anything. So the chances are extremely low that, you know, I would meet someone that I know. Is Turkey close to the UK? No. It is it's not. Definitely not. I mean, I guess what you can depends what you consider close. Doesn't Turkey live in London? No, I do not live in London. I wish I lived in London. That'd be great. That'd make it so much easier to get a job, you know. But no, I do not. I don't really live near any big cities. I would say the closest big city I live near to is Brighton, but I'm not even very close to Brighton, so there really isn't any. Anyways, now that we've defined the definition, we need to really define some kind of transformation class, right? So that we can transform from the world position into a local position or vice versa. Or more importantly, really, we need a way to be able to rotate it, right? So if we have this, you know, position, size, etc., we need a way to rotate that. We could do that in here. I think I'm going to create a new class for it, though. I'm going to create something like Multiblock Transform, I guess? Multiblock Transform, sure. And we're going to want the rotation, first of all. So we're going to want this, which is the rotations, or just rotation, I guess. And then we're going to want the mirror mode. So mirror mode. Okay. This should be a record, not a class. I see you have a multiblock.all package. Do you plan on using the old type of multiblocks too? I don't think so. But the reason I haven't just deleted this package, apart from not wanting a bajillion compile errors, is really just in case I do want it in the future. I'd like to define a way that they are all a multi-block, right? They're all under like some multi-block class. But that's just kind of surprisingly difficult to do, I would say. So, you know. Anyways, let's first of all find a way to apply this to locals. Oh my god, I cannot type. Apply it to local, and we're going to want a vec3i, which it will be the size, and then we have an int x, an int y, and an int z. Okay. So first we need to convert these to local, right? And we'll do that by mirroring them first, I guess, because that makes the most sense. So we'll say int local x is equal to x. Local y is equal y. I want to put these on the... Well, I guess, do I want them on the same line? Yes, because otherwise it does that, which I hate. Right, so... Is this correct? That's kind of what we want. Yeah, there's no y. So local x is size minus 1 negative x. Yeah, these are all fine. And then z is the same. Y would be, I guess, exactly the same as well. But we don't have like y rotations, so it doesn't really matter. So we want now the rotated. So rotated x is equal local x, and we're not going to have a rotated y, so we'll just have a rotated z. And then we'll switch on the rotation. So on case none. Is it not called none? Oops. No symbol none. Oh, it's just R0. Okay. Okay, and then on case 90, rotated x equals local z. No. Wait. Rotated x is equal local z. No, it's the other way round, isn't it? Would it not be... This is really hard to figure out in my head, I cannot lie. Actually, let me... I've done something similar to this before, haven't I? I'm trying to think. In old Industria, or Dirty Chemistry even, I think I did something similar. One second. I'm gonna have a look. Let me turn my fan on as well, because I forgot to friggin' turn it on. Honestly, old friggin' Dirty Chemistry is really hard to find, because I have so many repos now. And it was a long time ago. Okay, I found it. It might not even be in here. I could be mistaken. Util. Yeah, I don't think it's in here. It must be 1.19 or something then. Okay. That's fine. Well, either way, we can do this anyway. So we can say the x would be this, right? So size z, -1, that's fine. And then negative the local z. And then the rotated z is the local x. That's correct. And then hopefully Cobalt can do the rest. So we have... 1 second. I just realized Steam is open. Don't know why Steam. Why is Spotify open even? I'm not even using Spotify. Okay, I just closed Steam and then it opened itself. That's great, isn't it? I need to not have so many things open because my CPU has been dying recently. And I don't want it to just die on me whilst I'm live, so... have you done anything exciting today? Good question, Wide. You know what? I have no idea what I've even done today. I genuinely... I'm trying to think, what have I actually done today? I don't think I've done anything. Other than this, really. I've been doing Industria. I did a few things in Industria. I helped Alex do a little bit of railroad development. I played some Siege. But that's it. That is all I have done. I tried to play Battlefield 2042. My CPU couldn't handle it. So yeah, that's all that happened, to be honest. Is he still doing the Whack-A-Time plugin? He is, yes, but he didn't like it. Because he... Okay, basically I gave him that to do because it was very simple and it wouldn't affect the flow of Railroad itself if he took forever to do it. Right, because it's like it's a non-essential. So that's why I gave him that to do, and he didn't like it. That's why I gave him that to do. So now I've had to give him a task in Railroad itself. So I've tasked him with making it so you can add your, you can add custom theme repositories rather than, yeah, so you can add custom theme repositories, which is very simple. Or at least I think it's very simple. But it's still going to take a while. But luckily, it's a non-important task. Where is GG? Okay, but that's just mean, Wide. I can't believe you. Alex was saying nice things about you earlier, and now you're shit talking it. I can't believe it. Do you have 32 gigabyte of RAM? I do, yes. I have 32 gigs. But it's my CPU that's dying. So... direction. And then direction. I mean, this is really more like a... Yeah, I can be a kind soul when I want to. Bam. This is more of the face rather than... because we're going to actually get the direction from the method, so... if mirror mode is equal mirror mode.x, and then if the face, or I guess direction we can use, is equal direction.east, then we can go direction is equal direction.west, and else if it's west then we can go east. And then if the mirror mode is Z, then we can say if it's north, then it's south. Yeah, like that. Because we're only mirroring it, so right? So we only want to invert it. Wait, actually, can we just use... Can we just say direction is equal direction dot get opposite? If it's east, then it's west. If it's west, then it's east. Ah, but I only want to do that if that's the case. Then I want to say direction is equal direction dot get opposite. And then if this is the case, then direction is equal direction dot get opposite. And then we just want to do a for loop on the steps, right? So I is less than the number of rotation steps, so we can use rotation dot index, I think. So if we look here, this is 0, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3. So yeah, we can use the index, and then we can say direction dot rotate y clockwise. The direction is equal direction dot rotate y clockwise, because it doesn't modify it, right? So then we just return direction. Okay. I think that's pretty much all of the like transform stuff for now. Some of this stuff we're going to want to write packet codecs for as well, because we're going to need to sync it to the client, but we'll come back to that when we need to. Right, the next thing we can do is we need to make a matcher. So let's make a multi-block matcher. And this will have our definition, so a private final multi-block definition, like that. And then we're going to want our private, no, it just wants the definition, right? Am I correct? I think so. So we're going to have a public multi-block matcher, which just creates our definition. This can be a record, actually. That's fine. And then we can have our public optional of a match result, which will be try match, which will take in the world. Do we want a world, or do we want like a world access? I think we want a world view, right? That'll be the world, and then it'll be the block pause. See, we don't want the pause necessarily. Like, if we have the controller pause, then it's really easy to figure out, right? I guess what we want is a way to say, like, I guess the question will be, how do we want to say that it's done, right? Like, yeah, like, do we use an item to right click it? Do we just have it build automatically when it's done? Or... I mean, I guess in reality, any block can be the controller position, right? So we'll just have this be the controller pause then. Nice and simple, right? So we need some null checks, of course. So if okay, well this needs to be not null, and in fact we want to probably have a public multi-block matcher, of which we'll do objects.require non-null, like that. Okay, and then what we can do in here is we can go through the rotations, right? So we can go definition dot rotations dot for, which will get us the rotation, and then we want to go through the mirrors. So we want to do definition dot allowed mirrors dot for mirror mode. I'm actually gonna I'm gonna leave it for now. Might come back to that and rename this to allowed rotations as well, but we'll see. Then we want to create this transform that we just created. So var transform is equal to a new multi-block transform, which will take those in. Then we're going to say if not like that, we just want matches. So that will take in the world, the controller pause, and then the transform, and then it returns. Oh, I put my phone on do not disturb, so who's getting through? Just my mother. That's all. That's fine. Okay. So optional, and then we just want to create results, which will pass in those three things. And then here we just want to return an empty optional. Now let's quickly actually create the match result class. I think that would be a good idea. I'm trying to think about this. Okay, so we want a public. Oh my god, I cannot type, bro. Oh my god, record match result. I don't think we want all of these three things in it. Now that I think about it, do we? I'm trying to think, what does a match result actually have? Like, what is the result, right? It probably does need a definition. Do we need the transform, though? It will need the pause. But does it need the transform? What do you guys think? Oops, I didn't mean to press that button. I pressed a button that I did not mean to press. Oh god, I might have broken something. I think I've broken something. Okay. Okay, it's fine. I fixed it. So anyways, match result. Well, I don't think we need to store the definition, if I'm being honest. I think it's just a bunch of extra data, right? Because we don't need, like... we don't need everything that's in the definition. Let's have a look at the definition again. So, like, we don't care about rotations or allowed mirrors. We don't care about, the version, right? We don't care about all of that stuff. So really, we just need everything else. So we want the ID, right? So we want identifier, which is going to be the definition ID. We want the block pos, which is the controller pos. We want the transform, which, yeah, transform. We want the block pos, which is the, like, basically this, right? Wait. I guess the block pos is the, like, block pos origin pos, because that's different, because that will be basically like minus the transform. So with no transform, that's the origin position. That's fine. Then we want a vec3 I, which is the size. We want a list of something. It's not just a block pos though. Because yeah, this isn't just a block pos. We need to store additional data here. We need to store, like, the character and stuff. I'm just gonna do an object for now, but we'll come back to this one. I'm gonna call this cells. I think that makes the most sense, kind of out of everything. And then we want our ports, but the ports aren't going to be the ports that we have, so it's going to be like a resolved port, because ports can obviously have different things depending on where they are and whatever. So we want some kind of like resolved port, which will be the ports. Then we have the problems, right? So obviously if any problems, because obviously a match result doesn't necessarily mean it was a successful result, it just means there was a result. So we want some kind of list of problem, which we can make as a subclass, right? So it would actually be match results dot problem, but that's fine, we can leave that for a second. And then we also want the bounding box as well, but we don't want to have to pass that in to the constructor, right? So let's maybe not make this a class then, I guess. So what I can do is I can just convert record to class. Okay, and then we can have a private final basically a bounding box, right? So an AABB. Is that correct? Vec2, which I'm hoping no. We can just do a box, right? Yes, we can just do a box. So that will just be the Yeah, banding box, right? And then this dot bot banding box. Is that correct? So it will start at the origin position. No. We'll figure that out from the cells. I'm actually gonna call this something. I'm gonna say. Well, I don't know what to call it though. Let's call it world cell. No, because it's not. That makes it think like it's something to relating to the world, right? I'm just gonna call it a cell. I'm not too happy with it, but it will do. And then we need to figure this out from the cell. So this isn't gonna work, right? So we're gonna want box from cells, and that'll kind of figure that out for us, right? Okay. We need that here. We don't really need to do that because that's always going to be the same thing, right? Because it's calculated once. It's just going to be whatever from the cells, so that's fine. This can be cell as well. Okay. We want to know if it succeeded. So public boolean is valid, meaning the problems are not empty. No, that's the wrong way around. Why did Copilot try and do that? That threw me off. Okay, so we want a public stream of block pos, which will be the positions, and that's something we're going to get from the cell, right? Because we want a better way to access the positions rather than having to go through the cells every single time. So ideally we can just go through cells, right? Since there's a list, we can stream it and then we can just map it to the cell position, whatever that will be. That'll probably be a function we'll make that will calculate that for us. Hello 7410, welcome to the stream. Okay, and we could also probably have a function that contains, right? So it contains block pos, pos, and then we can actually do that. Is this fine? I think so. Because the banding box is defined by the cells. So yes, that would be fine, right? We can actually just pass in pos. There you go. Technically, it's kind of better to use this one. Yeah, it actually kind of is. So let's stick with that one. Okay. Since cell is the first one, let's create the cell class. I'm curious what plays the music on the stream. I currently just have it open in VLC. It's a playlist I have. It is from... Let's see if I can actually find it. It is from Stream Beats. And basically, it's a bunch of free music that you can use as a streamer, which is great. You literally just can download. I'm not going to open that on stream actually, because that's my Google Drive. But yeah, it brings you to Google Drive, and you can just download a bunch of different music. I'm just currently using the chip tune one, which is basically like pixel arty kind of music, which is suitable for Minecraft. When we do Railroad next, I'm going to change it to one of the other ones, because obviously Railroad is on Minecraft, so it doesn't really need to have Minecrafty music. Oh, sorry. I don't know why I keep yawning so much. Okay. Let's define a cell. A cell is just really a data structure, right? It's not anything super special. Oh, it's not free. I mean, it's like kind of free. You have to follow the license and stuff. Okay, so let's do cell like that. And then we want a public final block pause position, public final int local x. It's $5 per month. No, it is not. I don't know where you got that from. It is not $5 per month. I think you're looking at the wrong website. It's streambeats.com. Streambeats. Because I found it on oh my god, what's it called? Which here you go. So on Twitch's FAQ, they have the list here. So you got Stream Beats, they're all original and safe to use, live streams and VODs, and yeah, free to use. Number of tracks, 1,500 tracks. And obviously there are some in here that you do have to pay for, like Monster Cat Gold, you have to pay for that one. But most of them you don't, so this one you do have to pay for. Outer Note, this one's free. NCS, that's obviously free. Everyone knows about NCS. But I'm not a fan of NCS. It's just not good stream music. Chill Hop, so obviously if we wanted lo-fi, then that would be a good one. But I don't want lo-fi. But yeah, most of them are free. It's really just Pretzel and Monster Cat Gold that aren't free. So, but obviously Pretzel and Monster Cat Gold have significantly more tracks, right? Pretzel has 500,000 plus tracks, right? So that's a lot. Whereas this one only has like 1,200 or something. So we are talking two completely different levels of stuff. Hello Ash, welcome to the stream. Let's have a char. Let's have a public final block state. Let's make this position immutable as well, so you can't change it. Would you believe me if a restaurant called... I'm not even going to try and pronounce that. Existed. Yes, I probably would. Because people come up with weird names for shit. I realize now we don't want a position method. Yeah, this can just be a record. That's correct. So actually, we do want a position method then, don't we? Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Then we want a resolved port. So let's do public record resolved port. Okay. So we want a block pause. We want the direction, which is the base. We want the we want like a set of modes, which I have, right? Oh, no, I don't. I just have it as 2 boolean. Well, we can have a port mode, which is the mode. Or really, it's a bunch of modes, right? So a set of port mode, which is the modes. Then we want a set of transfer type, which is the transfer types. We want a int local x, local y, local z, and then finally we want the char character. And we do just want to make that one immutable. Wait, how does this... Oh, I see. So that just... Yeah, that's fine. So it would be like this. Tati, where did you learn coding? Honestly, just from experience, really. There's nothing special going on. It's just trial and error, and lots of it. And eventually you just get the hang of things. You know, I've worked on projects, many different projects. And that's where I got it all from. So yeah, it's nothing crazy. Okay, let's have a block pause, so we know what position the problem occurred at. We want the char expected, right? So that'll be the char that it expects it to be, and we'll have a string message. And then we'll have a public static final class mismatch problem, which will implement problem. We'll have a public or a private final block pause expected. Yeah. And then we want the private final block state actual state, and then we can just pass that in like that. This can be a record, can't it? Refactor anyway. Get rid of that. That's fine. We actually don't want a message though, because that's kind of going to be handled for us. So we'll just override message. And then say... you think you can explain pointers to us? Probably not, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, probably not. Honestly, I haven't done much, like, lower level programming. I have done it. I have done some C++. I have learnt C++. I just haven't used it enough to be able to explain it. I mean, I guess I could try and explain it. So, effectively, I mean, pointers are pretty simple, right? In reality, right? It's just a location of a piece of memory, right? A variable in memory. So if I have, for example, character, right? So I have this dot character here. The pointer, if we wanted this, we could get the actual memory location of character. And that means that, for example, I'm trying to think of, yeah, but why would you use pointers instead of actual variables objects? Basically, like, it's kind of hard to explain. Like, it's a matter of, like, you'd know when you need one, right? A good thing is, like, okay, for example, in Java, right? If we did, like you don't really need pointers in object-oriented languages because we have objects, so we can just set data on the object, right? But say, for example, you were passing something into a method, right? So let's say, for example, we have contains here, right? Let's say we wanted to set this block pos that's passed in, right? So we wanted to change that block pos, right? We can't do that because this is this is like, if we do, you know, pos is equal pos.toImmutable, the original position does not come immutable, right? If I call, you know, contains, right? So if I have a block pos, my pos is equal, we'll just set it to null, right? But imagine this is not null, so imagine this isn't null, right? If I say contains my pos, right, we maybe want to expect this to become immutable, right? So then we can come here and we can say blah 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 blah, right? We might even want, like, if contains, because obviously it does return a boolean, right? We want my pos to be changed, right? So that it becomes immutable, but we can't do that. The only way we could do that, well, in Java we have two options, right? We can use, like, a pair or something and return two things, or we could pass in a mutable structure in here. So, for example, you know, instead of passing in a block pos, we could pass in something like an atomic reference to a block pos reference, right? And then we could say pos reference dot set pos reference dot get dot toImmutable, right? And then obviously here these would all have to become that, right? Right? So you would do something like this, which is messy, right? The alternative is obviously you return something, which is objectively a better way to do it. But regardless, in C++, right, what we would do is we would say pos is equal, like, we can literally say, so pos, for example, would be like a block pos star, which is saying that this is a pointer to a block position in memory. So we would say that this pos would be equal to, how do you do this? Wait, something like this is equal to this, or something like this. Anyway, honestly don't remember exactly how you do it, but you're basically saying, how the fuck do you do this? It's something with stars and ands and that kind of shenanigans, but you're basically saying that, hey, we want to change this, so this variable in memory, we want to set it to, you know, it would be a pointer value of this. I don't know how you do that, admittedly. I don't remember. But it's something like that, right? So that's why you would use a pointer over just not a pointer. But obviously, if you're used to object-oriented languages like Java, then you wouldn't do that, because you would just return like a pair or something, right? So it's kind of different. But, you know, that's basically how pointers work. They're really hard to explain without, like, using them. Once you use a pointer, everything will click. You'll just be like, ah, that's how pointers work. That's why I would use a pointer. But without that, I can't really show you. Anyways, let's continue with this. Public record. Not replaceable problem. So we're basically saying that it's not replaceable, which is fine. And then we want something like, I mean, do we want something like not loaded? Like saying the chunk isn't loaded? I don't think so, because I think we're going to load chunks ourselves in the actual implementation, so that should be fine. Okay, then we want port mode. So that's just like input, output, both, right? So, we'll say public enum port mode input, output, both. Which doesn't need to be a friggin' set, does it? Like I've set it to be. That can just be port mode mode. This.mode is equal mode. Port mode mode. And then everything else will be fine because it's a record, so it's able to fix itself. Okay. That's everything. Right. We just want this now. So we want box from cells, first of all. So let's create a method to do that. We'll create a private static box from cells, which will take in a stream of block pos positions. It's not really from the cells then, is it? It's from the positions. So blocks from positions. And I think I'm going to query ChatGPT for this one, because otherwise I'm going to mess it up, because this one's going to be a little bit complicated. Let's do that. I'm going to do that because I admittedly don't know how to do this one, because this is maths, and maths is not my strong suit, as you guys know. So I'm just going to ask it, can you fill in the box from positions method for me? Okay. Interesting. So bar iterator is equal positions.iterator. While it's if it doesn't have a next, then we return a new box, which takes block pos.origin and block pos.origin, which it's complaining about because I think we can just do 0, can't we? Can I just do like box dot? No, apparently not. Either way, it's just 0. So there you go. Then we've got block pos first is equal iterator.next, and then int minx is equal first.getx, min y is equal first.gety, z is equal that, while iterator.has next, we get to block pos min them, and then it just returns that, I guess. I don't think it needs the +1, admittedly. That doesn't sound right. I think that's it. Yeah, this is... I spelled iterator wrong. Iterator, there you go. Okay, box from positions, that's asking for cells, so that's not correct, is it? So we just want cells dot stream dot map. In fact, don't we have a positions function? Yes, we do. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. So then we have a few more issues. So we have a matches method that we need to implement. And create result as well. So, how do we want to do the match method? We'll figure it out. What happened, 7 or 10? Don't tell me I did something. Public multi-block matcher, yeah, because it's a record. It's a record, man. Okay, so we want the vec3i, which is the size, is equal definition.size. We want the origin pos, which is the definition.ang, like the anchor? Is that a thing? Controller pos. I think it's probably correct. That's valid Java. Wait, what? No, the constructor. Yeah, this is the constructor. Yeah. Controller pos isn't correct. So what am I looking for right now? Wait, the origin pos is just... Wait, I'm so confused right now. Oh, I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot. I'm an absolute idiot. This needs to be a vec3i, and this is the anchor, which is the controller pos. which really should be called the anchor. I don't know why it's not called the anchor. This needs to be the anchor, because that's very confusing otherwise. Yeah, so then we want block pos, origin pos, and this is equal to controller pos.subtract. That's correct. We do want to subtract, and we want to subtract the local transformation, right? So we can do transform dot apply to local, which will take in the size, and then the anchor.x, the anchor.y, and the anchor.z, which now makes me think I don't know why I didn't just make this 2vec3i's. Anchor.x, anchor.z, anchor.x, and anchor.z, and then this is anchor.y. You say Z? Yes, I do say Z. People have picked me up on this before. I don't know why I say Z. I don't even know if that's the British or the American way. The fact that everyone keeps commenting on it makes me think that's probably the American way of saying it. But I just always said Z. I've always said Z. My entire life. So, I don't know. And maybe I need to ask my friends what they say. If they say Z or Z. Like, maybe I've just picked up Z from, like, watching Americans on stuff. I don't know. I can't say I've honestly ever thought about it, other than people now bringing it up. So, I don't know. Why does the word constructor turn into an image in the on-screen chat? I don't know. What is it even? Is it just missing picture thing? Huh. I don't know. That's a great question. I don't know why it does that. I've now messed up the sizing of that, so hopefully that's fine. Yeah, I don't know why it does that. Admittedly. I guess, I don't know. Vulnerability? I don't know, I hope not. I mean, if it is, I don't think it would be a me problem anyway. Because it's just using a widget. It's just a web widget. So even if there was a vulnerability, it'd be sandboxed inside the web widget anyways. Because OBS sandbox is the web widget. So, as any browser does sandbox, you know? What browser does that? No, what program does that? I'm using Botrix. This is what I'm using. It's very good. Most streamers use this, yeah. Well, I say most, that's not that many, but a lot of streamers use it. Yeah, see the constructor brackets, that didn't cause it to do that. So I don't know. This is also not correct. It needs to be Z first. Size dot C. Okay, then we need to get the char. So character is equal definition. I'm gonna say get char at Okay. So block predicate. Predicate is equal. We need to get the palette. Now, do we have the palette? So that's definition dot palette dot get of character. Now that's complaining because it returns a different type of block predicate, which I think is this one that we want. Now if predicate is equal null, or predicate is equal to block predicate dot predicate, this one dot, I'm looking for like any. Is there an any? Any? No. I guess always true would be any. Right? So if it's always true, then we just say continue. Okay, then we want the vec pre I, which will be the local pos, is equal the transform dot apply to local, which will take in the size. Oh, that's why I did that. I see. Okay. Okay, in that case, what we can do is just make this all ints, and then this will be the overload, right? So we can have int anchor x, anchor y, like that. And then this just calls that. And then we have int anchor x, anchor y, like that as well. And then we can just fix these all in here. So this is going to be the anchor z. This will be the size x, anchor x, size z, anchor z, so as you look at the on-screen stuff, I can see that. I don't think honestly you're gonna achieve anything though. So I would rather you didn't do that, because it is just kind of spamming chat. So that's not correct, is it? Wait. This is the size X. I mean, if you want to mess around with that, you can just set up bot tricks on your own thing. It's pretty easy to set up, and it's free. So wait, this isn't correct. What the hell? Wait, is this correct? Size X, yeah, because it's rotated. Right, that's fine. And then this is anchor Y. Size Y is actually never used, but I guess that makes sense. So I can just actually get rid of that one. Get rid of that one. Get rid of that one. Okay. So then I can just do this. Oh, it might just be JavaScript keywords or global variables or something. I know you can like in the like bot tricks kind of console window stuff, you can do JavaScript, right? You can do like custom JavaScript to get it to do certain stuff. So it's probably just that, and I'm guessing by default it just maps it to an unknown image or something. I don't know exactly what it's trying to do, but I honestly don't think it's as exciting as you guys think it is. You know, as I say, this thing is used by a lot of streamers. I'm pretty sure if it was vulnerable, it would have been, you know, in that easily of a way, it would have been figured out by now. So I don't think you'll get anything out of it other than just spamming the chat. In which case you'll get banned. So it wouldn't really. There isn't much you can achieve. Origin.add local pods, that's fine. And then we want the block state. And then all we need to do, if it's, we need to know if it's equal the air predicate, right? Would be a good idea. Well, actually, I guess not. So, if we can't test it, this wants a structure world access. Go to implementations. Structure world access. That's just a world oh no, that's server world access. Go to implementations. Structure world access. Go to implementations. Yeah, so really we just want a server world. For sure, we'll do a structure world access. There we go. Again, if it doesn't match, we just return false. Nice and simple. Nothing special. And then all we do at the very end, return true. I don't need these comments that Kobo is trying to put in, though. Don't want those. And I think that's kind of it. We're going to want the build result method. So private match result, build result, not build result, what's it called? Well, what have I called it, guys? Create result. There you go. This should be a structural world access. There you go. Create result. Okay, and this will take in our 3 things, which are... Oh, we don't even need this. That saves us some effort, doesn't it? Create result, which takes in what? The world, the controller pause, and the transform. Okay, we'll come back to this in a second, because we're going to write this from scratch. We're not going to let Copilot do that all for us. So, yeah, we're going to want a match result. Now, I'm going to create a builder for this, because there's a lot of things in this constructor. It's worthy of a builder, right? So, let's do public static class builder. And Copilot has written this one for me, which it did when I gave it the it did that when I gave it the other thing, the because I gave it the entire file, but it also ended up giving me this, which is actually incorrect. Is okay. Result port. Oh, because I changed these, didn't I? So this is port mode, which is the mode. This is generic. I don't know why it got rid of those. AI is so weird, man. Sometimes I feel like it just gets worse. Like it's just added a bunch of random shit in here. and completely misnamed some of the things. What? This is crazy. This is a resolved port, bro. This is a multi-block transform. I guess it just thought it was getting rid of some redundancies, but I think they're quite important. There you go. Let's also do that so we can actually friggin' read it. That's the size. That's the origin. I hate these variable names it's used. I hate these as well. That's the local X. That's the local Y. The local Z. This is because it needs that. Once again, local X. Local Y. Local Z. By the way, guys, the stream is going to be once again a little bit shorter today. Because I haven't had dinner again. I somehow just managed to completely run out of time to put dinner on before streaming. So, you know, we'll still go for a little while longer, but I'm just giving you guys a heads up that we're not going to go necessarily for as long as I would like to. Plus, also, I think you guys will probably get bored of this pretty shortly. Because it just isn't really anything interesting going on here. So, this is the origin, no? No, they're two different things. One second, Why has it given me two different things? Do I have the origin in here? Kind of. This is the origin. We can calculate that in here. Here. And then I can pass that in here. So it's the origin pause. And then, but then if it doesn't have this, it doesn't need to transform, right? No, it does need to transform. Okay. So then this can just have that block pause, origin pause, like that. That actually means it doesn't need the anchor, and it doesn't need the controller pause. Funnily enough. So, yeah, now it doesn't need that. And that just means that now in here, I can pass in the origin pause as well. Which means I don't have to recalculate that again. I can just do controller pause, origin pause. Which is how it is in here, right? Yes. Good night, Sohab Bim. I think I'm saying it right now. I think I finally got the hang of how to say your name. Good night. Anyways, definition ID, fine. Controller, pause, transform, origin, size. That's all fine. Then it wants us to do a for loop. So we'll do y. Y will be less than definition dot size dot y. And then for I, z. C is less than definition dot size dot z. For I, x. X is less than definition dot size dot x. Then we want the char character is getting the char. Which is fine. Then we want the predicate. Wait, aren't we just doing the same thing in here? Now that I think about it, we don't need... I guess we can have this matches method, but like, this isn't gonna actually be what we want. We actually want to just get rid of that, right? And just do that. And then we can make this public, right? That's fine. But yeah, we don't actually need that method in general, because we're going to do that in here. Wait, no. Wait, no, I'm wrong. I'm wrong. Ignore me, chat. So we want the, we want the local pause. We're doing something slightly different here because we're in the match results. This is where we need to create the ports and stuff, right? So we add the local pause to get the world pause, and then we can get the state, which we do need because now that goes into the match results. Then we need to do the builder, add cell, which will pass in the world pause, the local positions. No, it won't pass the local positions. It will just be the... Oh no, it will, won't it? Yes, it will, and then it will be the character and the state. Hello, Wide. Welcome back to the stream. Okay, we need to figure out if this position is a IO port or not. I don't know how we do that. I guess we go through the definitions IO port, so... definition dot port rules dot get character. So we can do this. And then we can say if port rule is not equal null, then we can say, do we have any methods in here for this? I don't think so. So we do want this, which will be... The problem is it has multiple sides, so we want to do it for each of the sides, right? So, port rule dot sides dot for face. We want to get the absolute face. We want to get the transfer types, which it doesn't like. Am I doing something wrong here? List of port types. Oh, that's fine. We just want to stream it and we want to map it to port type, transfer type. And then we want to do toList. Or, yeah, whatever. List set, whatever. It doesn't really matter at this specific stage. And then face.to world transform.rotation. No. Wait. Are you doing nuclear things? No, Wide, we are not doing nuclear things. We can do value of, right? And then do base dot to world. Oh, we need the facing though. Bugger. Didn't think about that. How do we do that? I guess two worlds should be able to take in a local direction. Right? So basically representing this as a direction. So then I can do base. So then it'll just be two world base. Like that. This is complaining because friggin' generics. Yes. Of course. Okay. Then now we'll just do port type. We'll come back to that one. Port types, like that. Does this want port types actually? It might do. Add port types. Resolved port. This needs to be, yeah, these all need to be port type. Let's do port type. Port types. Okay. And then add port. This will be set of port type. Like that. And then, yeah, that's all fine. So then we just fix that up here. Now, it doesn't like this, admittedly. Because it wants a port mode, and it has... Right, we need to get that from the types, though. Oh, that's why it says set. That's why... That's why freaking ChatGPT's been trying to get me to do a set for that. Because... And Copilot was trying to do it as well. Because it should be a set. Because... Right, I see. Okay. Okay. So this is... Yeah, that's going to be a pain in the butt, though. So we want a set of port mode. Modes is equal ports is equal a... We should be able to do port types dot stream. Dot map to port type. Yeah, we're not going to be able to do that, but we can say if port type dot is input and port type, no, if it's input, then we can go into here and say if port type dot is output, then we can return port mode dot both. Here we can return port mode dot input, and then here we can return port mode dot output. And it doesn't like that, but yeah, that's going to fix itself. There you go. Do you think there's any testing in this stream, or is it far from done? I think there's no way there's going to be testing in this stream, unfortunately wide. Yeah, there's just way too much going on. I'm not going to be able to. Okay, yeah, there you go. And then I'm trying to kind of clean this up, so there we go. So then I can just do modes. Add port will now take in a set of port mode. This will now take in a set of port mode. This will now be a set of port mode. Okay, it's still complaining because this, it wants to be require type set provided list. Select just to set. Well, actually, I can just do set dot copy of port types, right? Okay. It's erroring because we need to say down here, yeah, we need a way like in here to calculate mismatches, but we don't have any right now. But I will define here a list of problems, and then what we can say down here is say problems.for. We can say builder dot add problem. And then we can finally return builder.build. Now, is there a way to simplify this, or? Yeah, so we can do that. But problems obviously always empty, so we do actually need to handle problems. Okay. I mean, we're basically done, obviously, other than handling problems here. But in terms of, like, the actual matching logic, in theory, it's done. Very much a theory, admittedly. Yeah, I mean, that doesn't need to return the builder in this one. I mean, yeah, I mean, technically, like, this could work in game now. We do, however, need obviously like a way to like form the multi-block, right? So we would need a way to turn you know, this set of positions into a multi-block, and then we have to have a way to turn that back once like a singular block is broken, right? Because we don't want to destroy the whole thing, we just want to destroy that block and turn it back to what it was originally. And then we're going to have to do hitboxes as well, or collision boxes. For collision boxes, I'm gonna write my own bounding box class, and we're actually going to use the model to generate the collision box. Now, as for exactly how to do that, I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure how I'm actually going to do that, to be honest, because obviously models are on the client, collision boxes are on the server, so I'm going to have to make some way for the model to be on the server, which would be fine because the models aren't like JSON files, right? So they're not in like the client's assets or anything. It's not like the client could change the model because it couldn't. But I'm going to need that anyways. I'm going to need models on the server for the thing I want to do, for the big plan I have. Models on the server will be essential. Which may be a little bit of a hint if anyone has a little idea about that. But yeah, models on the server will be very much essential in the future anyways. So if we can get custom like collision with like, you know, triangles rather than, you know, cubes or rectangles, I should say, then that would be good. I think it's going to be a lot of complexity though. It's going to be a matter of writing an abstraction layer. Oh no, I'm yawning. It'll be a matter of writing an abstraction layer on top of the existing Minecraft models so that we can access that on the server. We obviously don't want the client to try and sync it to the server, because then the client could just lie and say some other bullshit, right? And say, oh, there's no collision box here or something. So we need a way for the server to actually have the model. And maybe the server like sends the model to the clients instead. Is probably what I'm going to do. Rather than the client actually having the model in the first place. Maybe. I don't know. I haven't exactly thought how I'm going to do that yet. Dynamic models? Not really. No. The models themselves won't be... yeah, the models themselves won't quite be used on the server. How do I want to say this without leaking it? The shape of the models will be used on the server. And I will say it's going to be a lot of maths, so I will once again be kidnapping Basti for this. OBJ. I don't know what I'm going to do about OBJ models. But I'll need to do those as well. Honestly, I was thinking I might maybe recreate the what's it called? Centrifugal concentrator. I might recreate the model for that. I don't really want to, but I don't particularly want an OBJ loader because it means that I have to be able to handle that later on with some other things. So I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, I need to be able to access model groups on the server. Like specific groups of elements is what I will need. So yeah, hopefully that will be exciting as well. Now, honestly, I'm gonna end the stream here. I know it's obviously a bit of a shorter stream today. But yeah, I have yeah, I'm gonna end it here because I need to have dinner. And also this is gonna take us a long time to do all of this. So, do you plan on making it so you can make your own custom machines? No, unfortunately not. But I think that would honestly be like impossible to balance, right? If you could do that. you just wouldn't be able to balance it. Like, maybe, obviously, I suppose mod pack creators could do that. Maybe, if I made, like, a thing to do it. But, you know, there's already tools out there to do that kind of thing. And I kind of, my idea for the future anyways, is that Industria is very much like, it's built as an API, is kind of what I want, right? Or not an API, but a library, right? So you could very easily add a new machine, is what I want in the future. But obviously, that's a long way away. I'm not even going to try and do that right now, because I want an actual working mod first, and then I can move on to making things easier to, you know, mess around with in the future or whatever. But anyways, as I say, I am going to end the stream here. Purely because I need to go and have dinner. But yeah, I will probably stream again tomorrow, albeit maybe later than usual. I'm not sure when I'm going to stream tomorrow, so I'm not going to schedule it. But that's going to be a Railroad stream tomorrow, by the way, everyone. So we'll be back to working on the parser in Railroad, and in the meantime, I'm probably gonna work on this some more and try and get something working. Maybe try and get something tested in the game. But that's still going to be another like 5 hours worth of programming. So yeah, I'm going to end it all here, and I will see you all tomorrow. Goodbye.